Hello and welcome to another Driven Catalyst live stream. It is my favorite day of the week, New Music Friday, and today we are talking about Conan Gray. I am pretty super duper excited to talk about this album. I am a big Conan Gray fan. I feel like, though, I was thinking about it last night because I was pretty, this was a hotly anticipated album for me to listen to. And I kind of realized I don't think I've ever locked in and like listened to a Conan album all the way through. Like, so this was a first, and I was not disappointed, and I didn't expect to be disappointed, so it all works out. That being said, let's just get into it. I am so Taylor Swift brainwashed, though, because before getting into the album, I was thinking, wait, should I see if there's like a little letter from Conan like on the album to read, like album notes, the way that Taylor has usually? And so I looked, and I don't think there is any, but let's go ahead and see. Okay, here's the Instagram post. How's that? So this is from Conan Gray on Instagram. Wishbone is officially yours. There's no string of words I can tie together to explain how much this album means to me. For those of you who listen, I hope you can hear it in these songs. Wishbone is the album I have dreamed of making my whole life. There's no other way to put it. Over the past 2 years, this album fixed something broken in me. I'd been standing at the edge of myself for years, not knowing that all I had to do was jump into my own life. I love that. I'd had some old wounds I'd never let myself heal, some familiar patterns in the people I'd let close to me, some memories I'd tried too hard to forget, and some beautiful pieces of me I hadn't known I was hiding away. It's a strange thing to reveal you to yourself, but somehow Wishbone did that to me. Or did just that to me. Let's go ahead and hit this because about halfway through the album, I started noticing names. I pulled up the lyrics and then started noticing names of producers in. One moment, please. Started noticing names of producers in the Genius Notes, and it wasn't until Ethan Gruska that I was like, wait a minute, this is big for Riley. Riley being me. Because I knew Ethan Gruska just from seeing it. That's the producer that worked on a lot of Punisher from Phoebe Bridgers. So I was like, wait a minute. But like, let's actually dive in to this. Okay, this album wouldn't be here without the friends who I got to make it with. Dan Nigro, my first collaborator ever when I was fresh out of Texas. Dan Nigro works with Olivia Rodrigo a lot, no surprise. Now my latest as the executive producer of Wishbone, the incredible Ethan Gruska and Noah Conrad, who are responsible for so much of the very soul of what Wishbone is. My new manager, Eddie Wenzel, who combed through all 300 songs I wrote for Wishbone. That's insane. And my dear Elvira, y'all know Elvira. Last name starts with an A. I'm sorry, y'all. I should have looked it up. I don't want to butcher it though. And then Luca Closer, or is it Closer? Again, this was sort of an on the spot looking up at Instagram, so I don't have the exact perfect pronunciations of these names, and I do apologize. For one last gem on the album, I have to thank my Brando, Corey Fogelmanis. The music videos of Wishbone truly could not have existed without him. Wilson and Brando is a piece of my own story that I wish to be true, and these videos gave life to that dream. Nobody could have built the world of my coming of age better than the phenomenal Moonshinin'. Sorry, these are also Instagram ads, so that adds another layer of complexity. As director, Wishbone is my return to home, and I'll forever cherish these snapshots of Texas summer love. So here's Wishbone. It's the album of my life. It's everything I've always wanted to say, but couldn't quite find the words until now. One last thing before I go, I urge you to remember, a wishbone never breaks even. It's up to you to decide what to do with your end of the stick. Much love and luck, Conan. I love that. I'm glad I hunted that down and read it. Okay, now let's dive in. Off the top, I always say, quite sheepishly, or I always try to comment on what singles are released ahead of an album, or at least acknowledge it, because I do think it's like a significant choice that's being made on the production end of things. And at the end of the day, that's all I can really notice and comment on. I'm not an authority on anything, whatever, who am I? That being said, I could not have picked, like, I don't know if there's ever been a better pair of singles picked for an album. Moment of silence. Like, I think the singles from this album are so phenomenal. And after listening to the album all the way through, they still stand out to me as like some of the best. Which isn't to say like, okay, you listen to the singles and it peaks and then you're let down by the rest of the album. Not at all. But the singles, this song and Vodka Cranberry, are outlandishly good. And then I don't know if we're counting Caramel as a single, but that is the song from the track, or the track from the album that does have a music video that I think released last night along with the album that I have not watched yet. But just based on all the visuals I've seen, based on everything I know about Conan Gray and everything I just read from that album write-up, I have no doubt that it is going to be really cinematic and great. And maybe I probably shouldn't watch it at work because I may tear up. So, let's get into the track list. I do have notes for all of the tracks, so we'll just go all the way through like usual. Or not so usual more recently. I've been slacking a little, but we're going to dive in for Conan. Let's start with Actor. That's track 1. And my first note is the pause on I barely even know him. I made note of what I thought was like an anxious breath or a stutter, and I really liked it. I was like, oh, that really, like, I felt that in my chest. I made it to track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I made it to track 6 before realizing I was listening to the censored version of the album, and those were not dramatic pauses or weighty breaths. Those were F-bombs that were censored out. And I kept being like, wow, this is like a really interesting, this is interesting, the use of like these sort of like heavy like pauses throughout. I kept being like, wow. Which I do think goes to show, something I've noticed, I think specifically with, I don't listen to the clean versions of music often because I'm grown and I don't need to. I think in art, that's, I'm grown and I don't need to. I'll leave it at that. But when I do, when one comes across my desk, recently, for radio play, I guess I've noticed a lot of artists sub in words. Like, I know Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo both, for sure, have little sub in words. Like in Betty, for sure, from Taylor Swift. There's Tell Me to Go Straight to Hell is the sub in for Betty. And I have to say, I think we're cooking with the pause, with the labored, I barely even know him, like, something about that hit. So I would urge artists to stop coming up with witty little ways to incorporate it for radio play and just do a hard cut censor. Dare I even say we could go full Jersey Shore and put the beep in? What do we think? I'm totally kidding. But yeah, so my first note for Actor is that I liked the pause, and it turns out that's just a censor. So I do need to go back and listen to, I think Actor maybe, like one of the first ones that I really, no, I guess Romeo, okay, so I made it through 2 songs that were the clean versions of the songs and heard the pauses and just thought it was a choice. before I realized, hey, wait a minute. So I probably need to listen to those again and listen to like the real version. But yeah. Okay. Next, yeah, another instance, I commonly do this where I just feel compelled to type up the lyrics. You spent the summer drinking while I spent it being erased. Hey, Conan Gray, this is gonna be the beginning of a lot of me revealing myself to you all on live stream, much to my chagrin, where Conan Gray says something and I'm like, hey, I get it. We see each other. What at the end of the day is this album if not, and Conan Gray is 26, but just being in your mid-20s, like, Conan, we see each other. Okay. Bridge. I have bridge in all caps with 2 exclamation points, and then dash 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 ripped my heart out. I do remember this being kind of a bop though, which is a unique skill I think Conan Gray has. What is the other sober? Is that what it's called? Like, Conan Gray has really mastered the art of putting out a bop that makes me ache a little bit. Maniac is really great. Oh, it's Wish You Were Sober. But then also putting out tracks that rip out my heart that are also not bops, like People Watching, which is a bop in its own way. It's a ballad bop. Okay, let's keep it moving. This song is probably, God, I can't pick a favorite actually. I was gonna say this is my favorite of the singles, but I love Vodka Cranberry so much too. I love the strings, but I typoed it, so it just says I love the stings, which also feels applicable. I generally love a lot of the way this album stings, which that's accidentally a pretty concise way to talk about it, because I would say throughout the album makes me, I was gonna say ache, but sting feels right. There's a couple tracks, and I kept wanting to describe some of the chimey guitar as ABBA-y, and I realized when we got to some of the later tracks, that it's actually more Cranberries-y. It reminds me a lot of the Cranberries, which makes sense because I assume, well, I guess we just read that this is an album that's been in the works for a bit. But I would say, like, there is a lot of Linger by the Cranberries has had its moment this year, for sure. It's kind of always had its moment. It's a fave. I think it's just a timeless song that everyone will love forever. But it certainly had its moment on TikTok this year, and with the Royal Otis cover too. And I would say, like, a lot of this album feels very Cranberries-y coded. Which then, yeah, I would say, like, rather than aching, it stings. And I feel like this, like, using the word sting kind of fits with some of the chimey guitar across the album. Oh, but in this context, I did mean the full orchestral strings in the song. And then they stripped down to, like, a finger-picked guitar at the end, and that was just so big. I loved it. Yeah. Again, I have to give my flowers. This is such a strong pick for a lead single. Next, Vodka Cranberry. We lead with finger picking again, which is awesome. It fades very well from this song. And then I love the yodely vocals, but again, I realized, like, sort of yodely in a Cranberries-y way. The ooh, can't do it, but you know what I'm talking about. This song is phenomenal. And then I went ahead and just typed up some of the lyrics because, are you joking me? Speak up, I know you hate me. Called you up. Oh, yeah. Speak up, I know you hate me. Love that. Called you up in the middle of the night, wailing like an imbecile. If you won't end things, then I will. And also saying imbecile to imbecile. If you won't end things, then I will. God, that's a great rhyme. Love you for that, Conan. Keep It Moving. Everybody knows you don't love me the same. Yeah, that one does ache. That one doesn't sting. That one aches. Looked at your picture and cried like a baby. It's just a perfect song. He hit it out of the park with that. Thank you, Conan Gray. Okay, next, Romeo. What was really off-putting for me about this song is how healthy of a perspective we come from in this song lyrically. Conan, what are we doing? I felt betrayed. I got lulled into thinking, yes, like, let's romanticize the situationship, Conan, like, let's do it. And then Conan said, no, 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 and that really pissed me off. No, but this track is a bop, certifiably. I was out waiting for you, but now you've got to wait for me. I was out praying for you. That's why my friends pray for me. Love that. I feel like the vibe of this song was immediately so different from other Conan, and I really loved it. I love all of the other Conan music. Like, I hate it when I'm like, I love that this was different from what you normally do. Because then it feels, I don't know, that feels very, like, backhanded. But no, I feel like we sit in a lower register. I feel like it's more gravelly. But it was cool. Really cool. Yeah, I literally just have to, like, he's better than me. I hope you know I'm never gonna want you back. Like, oh my god. Not him being so evolved and hitting us with track 4, and he's like, you know what, I'm actually over it. Screw this situationship. That's, like, not what we want to hear from you, Conan. Thanks, but no thanks. But he wins back our favor later on. He gets a little messier for us again. Ugh, okay, and then, yeah, I'm just gonna say what I mean. I'm gonna say what I wrote. But artists who sing about being replaced romantically by someone of a different gender, like, it's big. It's big. Good luck, babe. Romeo. It is the moment. And I'm glad Conan said it with his chest, you know? Okay, moving on to My World. This is the moment that I realized I was listening to clean Conan Gray. And then I did make the switch, so I listened to the beginning of the song twice. This is track 5. And once again, we're going to talk about Romeo. I've given up on being anything Romeo, I don't need a referee. I thought that was really good. It was on this song that I realized I was listening to a censored version of the album. I kept thinking they were anxious breaths / stutters as a note that I typed up. And then I just have this chorus is so chimey and fun. So I guess I don't have a lot of notes on My World, but I remember really liking it. And I think My World is when I said, I think it was so chimey and fun that I said, all right, who produced this? I'll bite. Who produced this? And I didn't get the note of this one, or I don't have it written down for this one, but I do for Class Clown. And so now we are going to shift into the more sophisticated part of the live stream, where I start mentioning more of the producers and what they've worked on. Class Clown. This one feels ripe for fan edits and licensing, is what I wrote. Like, I don't know. I kept listening to it and I was like, ugh. I just know I'm gonna see, like, Will Byers. Like, I'm gonna see a supercut of Will Byers to the song. Probably not Will Byers. I don't know that he's Class Clowny. But I think it was the lyrics in particular. Like, if I get older now, I'll let my younger version down, and if I stop laughing, all the blood will just start pouring out. I feel like a lot of media we're seeing that's sort of like the A24-ish, artsier stuff is, like, really playing with youth and horror. Maybe that's just because I saw Strangers earlier this week, but I feel like Stranger Things does it. Did I say Strangers? Weapons. I saw Weapons earlier this week. Stranger Things, Yellow Jackets, just, like, I don't know, if you're on the corner of the internet that's doing fan edits, I feel like this song feels ripe for it. And I think generally, I don't know, Conan Gray and Olivia Rodrigo, I closely associate because they're friends, and I feel like both of them have done a really great job of making songs that are both really great for radio play, but also tell enough of a story that is both exact enough to be licensed and abstracted enough to be licensed for like movies and like The Summer I Turned Pretty type shows, like novel, like book to screen adaptations. So okay, and Class Clown, which this quite frankly does surprise me based on everything. Like I would not have clocked this. It was interesting that I noticed the name Ethan Gruska and just knew that Ethan Gruska worked on Punisher. Because normally I'll listen to a song and I'll be like, this like is reminding me of Punisher. Not in a direct way, like One Trick Pony way, but in like a, just I'm in that space. I'm in a world that, or every so often there are certain sonic like trills almost that just really remind me of Punisher. So it's interesting to me that I clocked the name on this one rather than hearing it. But yeah, Class Clown was produced by Ethan Gruska of Phoebe Bridgers' Punisher notoriety. Notoriety, I think, generally has a negative connotation. I don't mean it like that. I love Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. Like, definitely one of my all-time favorite albums. Okay, Nauseous. Nauseous is probably my favorite track from the album that wasn't a single. I love Nauseous. I ate it up and licked my fingers afterwards. Yeah, I was so ready for this vibe shift. I did note it feels a little Lizzie McAlpine. Like I almost could write down directly like exactly what song from Lizzie McAlpine it reminds me of. I won't tell you. Like go listen and see. Because I feel like you could clock it. And also I didn't have time to look it up and compare, so that's a little bit laziness on my part. But it very much feels Lizzie McAlpine. Which only made me like it more. And then okay, now I have lyrics. We're moving into the lyric portion of this song analysis. Or commentary, not analysis, really. With people before they left like a fallen... Oh, yeah. With people before they left like a fallen floor. With people before they left like a fallen floor. I feel like a Macbeth witch, the way I repeated that so many times. I really liked that. I vowed to be nevermore. I thought, well, really that was a note for me to look up. Does it actually say nevermore, like Edgar Allan Poe type beat, nevermore? And then behind every kiss is a jaw that could bite, because when they hurt me I won't be surprised. Your love is a threat and I'm nauseous, scares me to death how I want it, not common sense but I'm haunted. Thank you, Conan Gray. Everyone in unison we say thank you, Conan Gray. I was so afraid we weren't going to get a good song like Nauseous after Romeo, when Mr. Conan was like, yeah, no, I'm evolved, I don't even want you back. No, we needed Nauseous. Thank you. This was produced by Noah Conrad, who also produced Sally When the Wine Runs Out, among other tremendous songs, but that was the one that stood out to me. It's like, I think my track 4 most streamed from the past 6 months. Love that song. Love Role Model. Next is Caramel or Caramel, whichever you wish. This is produced by Dan Nigro, who works with Miss Rodrigo very often. Once again, they're like very much in the same space, and so that makes a lot of sense to me. This is when I wrote Chimey Like ABBA, but has some of the grunge rockier, like Avril Lavigne drawn out words. But yeah, I think what I mean is it's very Cranberries-y. Great song. Don't have a lot of notes about it. This one does have a music video, and I think like that makes me feel like it's being touted as like another single. So I would definitely go take a look at that. Okay, next. This is when I started to get note fatigue and really just wanted to listen. Next track is called Connell, and I think it is quite possibly just because it is called Connell, but also because With love and respect, Paul Mescal has made his rounds in the indie music scene. Uh, the beginning of the song, and like, there's like a line about, I saw you with that brunette girl, your hand around her waist. Like, it just makes me think of that picture of Paul Mescal and Phoebe Bridgers where he's looking at his co star from Normal People. Like, y'all know. That picture went triple platinum on Twitter. Sorry, it's like actually crazy. I don't know her name. Daisy Edgar Jones. And I did know her name. I just have selective memory today. Yeah, y'all know the picture where it's like he's dating, Paul Mescal is like with Phoebe Bridgers and like staring at Daisy Edgar Jones. And then his name in Normal People is literally Connell. I am curious if that's on purpose. I'm not speculating anything. I'm saying like how uncommon would it be that maybe Conan Gray read Normal People and wrote a book about it, or wrote a song about the book, you know? I don't know. That's kind of where I would say the references begin and end, though, so probably not. But Connell was a fun name to choose, because I feel like that is top of mind for our generation. Like, I feel like that probably just resonated in a familiar way. Next is Sunset Tower. This is from Luca Teresa Closer, who worked on all the new Addison Rae, as a point of reference. That's the producer. This track, we picked things back up. I feel like we had sort of a medium, or we had sort of a middle, like, ballad, slower, Lizzie McAlpine bit of the album. We picked things back up. Yes, okay. Sunset Tower is the, like, if you're working on yourself, don't tell me track. And I'm sure there are tracks out there, like, I like cannot come up with any other songs that are like this. I'm sure they're out there, but I appreciated that about this track, that this is like I feel like we have the I forgot that you existed, we have the happiness, there was happiness because of you, there'll be happiness after you. There's good for you vibes, the good for you, you look happy and healthy, not me, if you ever cared to ask. We've got I'm sure you got a wife out there, kids and Christmas, but I'm unaware because I'm not there, like I'm right where you left me type songs. I like that this is kind of that situation with a different disposition. I like that it's like, if you're working on yourself, don't tell me. Like, yeah, I'm sure you're doing great. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. I did not forget that you existed, but I would like to type vibe. Great track. I feel like that disposition and a song with that disposition is much needed in this space, and so I'm grateful to Conan Gray for supplying it. We move on from that track to 11:11, which is so sweetie pie, cutesy, ripped my heart out. Conan Gray, we see each other. I like the amount that this album fits together, and like I almost would say references itself, but just has like a lot of symbols that flow throughout. 11:11's All Hear Your Name is in this song, so that had already kind of made its mark on me mentally. I feel like it fits with the wishbone imagery, the idea that that you can wish for something that breaks you, or that is inherently broken, or that to wish something can sometimes be to break something. Like that, I feel like wishbones are just such a ripe symbol. And then, of course, like angel numbers and 11:11, I feel like that is sort of our generation's version of wishing on a shooting star and like pining. And yeah, I just think it's cutesy. And I loved the bridge of this song. Okay. Let's keep moving. I feel like there was a rhythmic shift at a bridge that I meant to like make a note of. I don't feel like I ever said anything about it, but I could not tell you where it was. So, oh, it was on Caramel. Oh, yeah, I don't think I gave all the notes on Caramel. I liked the switch up, the rhythmic switch up on verse 2 in Caramel, just to get all the bases covered. Sorry to go back 2 tracks, but yeah, loved the bridge of 1111. Now we'll move on to the finale of the album, Care. I have bridge written with 5 exclamation points. Really loved it. And then I have in quotes, y'all, I lost the plot on these notes, I'm sorry. But this is when I had, I think, the aha moment of it's cranberriesy. That's what I kept going for. I kept thinking like ABBA, ABBA, ABBA. It's the cranberries. Yeah, Care is a great finale track. I really went into it and wanted to be wowed. After such a good album, I expect like a great final track. And I feel like Care pulled through. That being said, though, like the standouts for me really were, well, Class Clown stood out to me. Vodka Cranberry, this song, Romeo stood out. I loved Actor. And then Nauseous. I would say Nauseous is just like really probably top track of the new ones. And then I will say too, because I'm big on if you like this, then listen to this. They're not similar sonically much at all, but if you listen to Nauseous and we're like, yes, I'm still at the restaurant, like that's exactly how I feel. Jekyll and Hyde from Next of Kin, which I have talked about extensively, is like a great next track to queue up after you listen to Nauseous and put yourself in that headspace. But let's wrap it up. That was like a great New Music Friday. I haven't looked at my release radar yet, so I don't know what other new singles may be out. I haven't looked at the new music forecast from other artists either, so I don't have much information on that. What I will tell you is we have been in such a Swiftie-centric universe on my feeds recently. I don't really have much to share or any thoughts that I'm going to like live stream about, but I do kind of want to do, and I already mentioned this on Wednesday, I'd love to do my version of the album art. But ideally, I think my version of the album art would just be one of the photos from the photo shoot with no text. I'm such a fan of an album art that does not have the album name on it. So I'm playing around with the idea of we're gonna work on that at some point next week together. Is like a Taylor Swift album cover that if I could design it, like what I would do. So keep that in the back of your mind. But again, I don't know that we're going to do that based on the fact that I think I would just pick one of the pictures and that would be the album art. So maybe that's besides the point. But if I come across any new releases or singles that I listened to over the weekend that came out today, I will follow up Monday and let you all know. In the meantime, stream Wishbone by Conan Gray. You blew us all away, Conan. Thank you. I expected nothing less, but it's always so fun and satisfying when an artist pulls through and gives the gifts that we were hoping to receive. I think I will likely wait until I can watch it on my big TV at home. I'm gonna watch all the music videos. But yeah, in the meantime, that's our Texas Pookie. We love you, Conan Gray. Thanks for a great album. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this live stream, not Conan Gray, but just to all of you watching who may be. Hope you have a great rest of your Friday, and I will see y'all next week. Goodbye.